A fun one as, oh my god, the draft is almost done.
I mean, we're still through the first phase, so I don't know what you mean by almost done, but
Almost.
we are getting a lot of picks already coming through here. So much has gone through. Rungjun, I don't believe any of those things he's hovering, though he did play Yone, I think it was last week, and actually
With the
did
Zac?
look really good. Yeah, it was nice. Okay, so Smiley, the player Austin was highlighting on the desk, and I think rightfully so. We've seen some good performances from him pretty consistently. He was looking good on the Abelios. Now having him on the Jinx priority, I think, is a big deal. And another point, too, Vizicachi on the Ornn was one of the wins that they managed to get. It just seems like this team does better when they have just more easy ways to start off these team fights, easy ways to set up carries like Smiley and Ronaldo.
Yeah, long range, hard CC, along with just team fight setup that you can consistently rely on. Being a rock for your team is what I find Vizicachi does best, as being one of the biggest veterans in just the league, and especially on GO, right? But as you go along the draft, like you say, Jhin, Thresh, Camille locked in. Camille a pretty good matchup into the Ornn as well. Should be able to bully him pretty well in the lane. You know, of course, depending on whether or not how much resources bad Lulu gets. As you move along, the TF naturally banned away. Rangjun will never get that again, likely.
Yeah.
As Austin was saying, and alongside the Nautilus, banned away on the other side. So expecting something like a Leona, likely for GO if it manages to get through the draft. But I guess Mirage heard me.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get rid of a lot of engage just because on top of Aura on his own is already so much here, and if you get Enjoy on something that can really start things off here or follow up with the CC, things like Call of the Forge God, he's going to be a menace. The thing is, though, the Alistar is still up and available, and I do wonder if that's something we are going to see come through here. The Thresh from Raxo, I think, is a new look because it's something we haven't seen so far this split. It's been mostly things like the Nautilus for him and other engaged supports, but I think part of it was a takeaway just so you don't allow the Jinx Thresh to go through. Yeah. I think in this scenario, Enjawave would have done really well with it. I think the most exciting thing is we are seeing more Camille come through, and Bad Lulu, who has played it before, it was just like, he's a stud in the top lane, man. He gets little to no resources from the team. For the most part, Memento doesn't really show his face in the top lane very often, and it's a good matchup. But let's talk about the Yone. Rangjun played it last week.
Yes,
the dude was nuts. He was an insane playmaker.
Yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal. He was engaging on people from half a screen away.
Sure was.
As you do as a Yone, right over the wall.
That's how it
Suddenly,
works.
you were absolutely marked for death. You take your final breath, and suddenly before you know it, your great screen is upon you. On the other end, like you mentioned, the Alistar for Enjawave will be upon us as well. It is also the support present in the 2 wins as well. He is very, very good on this pick and has been as an expert at denial. And so to try to match the wave clear of the Yone and someone that can potentially keep him in lane will be the Rise. For Ronaldo, I'm expecting tank Rise. I don't like the build, but it is what's meta right now. Like you're saying, we will hold our breath as the final pick also comes in. Looks like the Zinjao to match the... No!
Oh,
we're running it back with the cop, bro! The Zac Yone! Let's go!
No, this is great. I think, this is what... One, where it started to turn around for Mirage is when they did start playing more different picks. Like, Memento brought out the Zac last week. He played great on it. Struggles early, of course, level 1. There's a chance you get invaded. But ultimately, it was so great for how he's going to be playing these team fights. And Rangjun was playing the Yone. This was the game where they both ran this. This mid-jungle played out of their minds in these team fights and managed to pull out a really strong win. The thing, though, is when I look on the other side here, I like what GamersOrigin have gone for. I literally have it in my notes. I want them to go back to what's been working for them. Few wins that they have, it has been the simple front-to-back style composition. They got a lot of scaling into the late game. You have Rise, you have Jinx, you have Viego, and of course you have the Ornn and the Alistar that Enjawave has been on every time GamersOrigin win a game. So I think if we just look at the front to back here, I think it's going to be really
hard. Now, but what we do have, though, is game number 1 upon us, and I apologize, I misspoke. I said Jesus, but it is Nico, indeed, who is the coach of GO. Very nice guy. Very cool dude, I'd say. I highly recommend for anybody to talk to him. If you're at Nice right now, go up there.
Go speak
say
to
hi.
him.
Yeah.
DM him on Twitter, why don't you? Everybody message him.
Exactly, yeah. No,
and,
I was right.
And when you do, tell them that Ravish sent you.
Exactly, yeah. Go talk to Nico, go talk to Jazz. Every single coach you see right in Nice right now,
it's because of him.
Shake their hand and ask them, hey, can you leak some strats for me, please?
Why, so you can leak them on the broadcast again?
We don't talk about that right now. We don't do that. But instead, what I will leak, though, is what my impressions are of the game, right?
Okay.
is because, look,
I'm listening.
Across the board, I think this is pretty standard stuff in terms of rune pages, in terms of setup we have so far. Of course, the most unstandard thing is what we see at a Mirage. But to be fair, Mirage have looked really interesting, reaching into the back pockets for picks they can bring out to surprise their opponents they're up against.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really interesting to me is Raxo, instead of, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, well, there we go. It finds the early engage, but that's what NJWave does, as does the Alistar, right? They go in and try to knock back one, maybe get some early poke down, but he's an Alistar, so he'll be fine healing up all throughout this entire lane. But I like how aggressive they're playing so far this lane.
Yeah, it seems like they really want to try and get this level 2, and they are slightly ahead, but I mean, dude, this is Alistar level 1 we're talking about. I don't know if it's really going to pan out the way they're hoping for, but I respect the attempt here. And the other thing to look to is we got junglers, opposite starts of the map. They're going to end up going to different places here. Memento, I mean, usually doesn't show up too much top lane. Might be there to help Bad Lulu, but I kind of doubt it. The matchup is good for the Camille, and it's Bad Lulu, who is honestly, in lane, one of the best top laners we have in this league, so I'm sure he's just going to do fine. It's about, for the most part, hovering Rangjun in the mid lane, especially because early, range into melee is not fun unless your Zach is hopping in saying, hey, how you doing?
Exactly, and that's what's the most fun part about this Zach, right? All these off angles that he can take just as a jungler to go in gank. You never truly knew where to ward if you're up against Zach. So, if you're looking to push all these lanes, then you must be careful. But considering Rangjun is a Yone, realistically, all he has to get is a Vamp Scepter, and he becomes unkillable. Fun champ.
Tier 2 boots, I mean, that's kind of it with the Wind Brothers. That's all they really have to worry about here. Now, we actually have Kareem not having I don't know if he has the best gank angle necessarily, but he is in the area waiting for the scuttle. He's only done 4 camps and might be looking for a chance to see if he can do something in the bottom lane. Besides that, though, looking like he does have that information. Memento showed up mid, so he isn't going to run into Mirage's jungler just yet. But I think early on we aren't going to see too much go on here. Interestingly, NJWave is already on the move here, but Raxo recalled and he's still level 2, but he is moving to the mid lane.
Interesting choice that they decided to take up here, like you said. Yeah, Cody-san as well, like you mentioned. They both took very early back, so I imagine they want to play this lane a lot safer. But considering you're Jin, considering you are Jin, Thresh as well, right? You really want to look for opportunities that you can get Raxo to get out of the lane and gank somewhere else, especially towards Rangjun. And that was one of the big points that actually both Dominus and the coaches and managers were also mentioning too, was they were working a lot on making sure Raxo gets out of lane and links up with Memento. And we saw a big part of it yesterday as well with him on the Nautilus, and consistently making sure that Shio did not have the opportunity to play the game. And I imagine we'll see more of the same today.
And it's nice, too, when you think about his AD carry, Cody-san, playing the Jhin. He's going to be at a pretty safe distance most of the time, especially when you consider the curtain call, things like the Deadly Flourish coming out. So Raxo can hold on to that Dark Passage, the Lantern, and use that for other members who are going in, whether it's Memento, whether it's Rangjun, maybe even Bad Lulu, who's going for an attempt to 1v1 the AD carry with that Hextech Ultimatum. The point is, even though there's going to be a lot of finesse required with Mirage's composition, they have a lot of ways they can play this game here, but I still think it depends on a lot of activity in the early minutes here. So far, not a whole lot has come through, except we have a dive on Bad Lulu.
This is interesting, shocker.
I mean,
You're telling me that Bad Lulu is pulling resources and pressure off the map because of how talented of a player he is? I am flabbergasted to be done.
I mean, I like that they're doing this. It's the fact that you recognize, all right, Bad Lulu is going to be a problem. This isn't the greatest matchup there for Vizicachi, so if they can set up a dive and put him behind, especially with no TP, you absolutely take that, especially because Ronaldo is going to have the push for quite a while. And look at this, NJWave, good guy support player, holding on to the wave, making sure he loses very little of it to the tower as well. So even though the play doesn't end up work, it costs nothing.
Yeah. And just what makes it even better is that he didn't take a single minion.
Yeah.
As well. He didn't even bother to try to hit it. Well, that's exactly what you like to see.
That's his job, yeah.
I know, right? He does really well. So, his Alistar has been one to create highlights across all the wins of GO, and even the ones they haven't been so lucky on either. I was thinking as well, beat them, that we've seen that one of the quotes that we have for the Wind Brothers is, death is like the wind, always by my side.
I think it's just Yasuo.
I think you're right, it is just Yasuo, but I think they should both say, death is like the wind, always in my lane, because it's either they're dying or their opponents are dying.
I mean, that's actually pretty true. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see. I mean, so far Rangjun does a deathless game, but who knows? He's level 6 now. He has that ignite, so you got to imagine a lot of aggression is what they're looking for at the moment here, especially in this laning phase. I think as soon as Memento gets an angle here, he's going to be doing it. But I think Ronaldo so far doing a really good job in lane, playing to the side where usually his jungler is, just so that Memento can't end up surprising him now. And Kareem, oh wow, he wants the 1v1. Oh, wait, nice.
Yep, there we go. Finds the engage, the ignite as well. Lands a stun onto Rexo, but Smiley's a little bit too far. So they can't try to go in on this, but instead look at the back. Some Memento's charging up, finds the knockup, deadly flourish, and stunned up. But Cody's son again, not able to get in range either. And now they're all being kited away on the back end by the Rockets, and everybody got a run here, beat down.
Wow, really is a good attempt from Mirage, but you end up the play doesn't end up working. Wave just a little too tanky. It looks like even at level 4 without access to the ultimate, no way they have any serious kill threat. And this is kind of the thing with Memento on the Zac before level 6. Kareem can look for these 1v1s, force a lot of pressure onto him, and because their bot lane is getting the push, they can just go ahead and pick up Dragon number 1 here. Vizicachi, though, he's having a good time in the top lane.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely feeling himself, right? And honestly, I would too. Chachi as well has been phenomenal with what we've seen so far from his overall performances as well. And this Ornn pick is a big comfort pick for himself too. Now, I was saying, Camille should be able to, be fine early on in the lane, but of course, being the Ornn, he can try to match him. He doesn't see. No! He flashes out. Okay, that's good. That's crazy. That's so sick.
No, I love that he tried that with the Herald Path to be able. I love that he tried that with the Herald Path to be able to just, cover the recall. And the fact that he almost got away with it too, which I think is really funny. But ultimately, it costs you your flash. You got the dragon. You don't give away a kill. I think that's a positive so far. GamersOrigin doing pretty good in this early game, and it's looking like they're trying to go 2 for 2 in these early objectives here. You see the rotation already come through. Smiley has the wave pushed in, and now they're looking for Raxo. Here's the Hex Flash.
Yeah, there we go. They find the knockup, but the stun doesn't land from Green KT, so there's no follow-up there either. But instead, they'll simply use that to gain priority over the Rift Herald. A good play nonetheless, as we see, Raxo roams around, tries to get some wards down.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all he's going to be able to do. Memento could potentially go for the steal, but he can't quite do it over the wall as a lot of Zac like did. No, he's not close enough for that. But at this point, yeah, there isn't a whole lot they can do here. Listen, Mirage, I mean, front row seats are nice at movies and concerts, but it doesn't really work when you're contesting neutral objectives. There's no point.
There's no movie that I want to see here.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And especially considering with the situation that they've been in, right? It's like, man, I feel like I've been here before. This is a sequel that I personally was not prepared for, nor did I want to attend. Let me get me out of here, man.
Nah, I mean, there it is. GamersOrigin walk away. They give the Rift Herald to Smiley, who's holding on to the eye at the moment here. And I mean, if you get the opportunity, you have Ronaldo who's on the move picking up the blue buff. All he has to do is get a push in the mid wave yet again. He can use that Realm Warp to make a potential play on the top side since Kareem is already in the area here. And I think that's why you see Memento here as well. He's hovering, is expecting a play to come through from Kareem, even though it might not happen. I still like the thought.
Oh yeah, it's Kareem as well too. Has been one of the big carries for the team of GO. We've seen him really step up on the Lee Sin too, making super early plays and really getting a pace of the game for GamersOrigin as well. We've been talking to Jesus too. He did mention, about how, Kareem, they find he's been able to become much more of a backbone for the team and ease some pressure off of Vizicachi from trying to make a lot of these calls. And considering the meta we're in right now, early jungling can make such a big difference going into the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, can't express how crucial it is. And this is, even though it doesn't feel, you don't feel as impactful later on into the game as a jungle, setting up your laners in these first 50 minutes, as he said, it's just crucial. That's just how the game is at the moment here. And that's why even Kareem, who does need to scale, or who will scale and do a lot of damage later on, just the way he's been supporting his team has been pretty impactful. Again, Mirage, I think time is not really their friend. So the lack of activity has been a little tough. Not for lack of trying, by the way.
No, not at all. But here's something that they're trying right now. Called the Forge God gets called in, get the knockup. But do they want to dive this? They have 3 minions. We've seen this movie before, beatdown.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't think they want this, and they walk away. A safer play from GO.
This movie definitely has a nicer ending, and no one really had to lose very much in the process.
The alternate ending?
Yeah, exactly. And they get to walk away from this one. It's not as big a deal. We'll give Raxo the opportunity to get a little vision and actually potentially set up this play. I don't think they actually have kill threat on Kareem. So I have a feeling they're just going to go ahead and walk away. Also, I just took in that the only magic damage really coming from Mirage is from Memento on the Zac. So I think Steel Caps, very good this game.
Yeah,
very
it
valuable.
is very, very good, in fact. Considering Memento's probably going tank, not exactly AP Zac, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not crazy people, but speaking of getting crazy,
yeah.
There it goes in, and just like that, it is instantaneous. Engages from half the screen away.
There it is. That's what we need to see. Rungjun getting the kill. He is definitely a player we look to on this squad to be able to have those pop-off performances. The last one we saw was on the TF yesterday, but last week it was on this very Yone pick. So I like giving him that attention here and finally getting us first blood at 12 minutes in the game. It's also worth noting, too, I like that he's hovering on this bottom side of the map. The only thing with your AD carry having the Eye of the Herald, well, she's got to show up in lane at some point. And you always have an idea of where it's going to be, not like when you have it on the jungler at the moment. We have the battle for the Gromp going on here. Dragon in 20 seconds, so I feel like we're going to get this Herald dropped in the bottom lane. Not necessarily a play for the actual entire turret, but enough to just get some plates and get some pressure.
Yeah, and look at the replay of this so far. Yeah, it's
this is
pretty clear. Yeah, you know, I believe they also used the Ignite as well just to ensure the kill, and there we go. Momentum gets an easy escape with Raxo there on his backside. The exact same sort of style we see in the previous game, although this time they're not necessarily on the TF that can roam around the entire map. It is still just Raxo, Memento, and Rangjun, making sure that he is a mid laner, has as many resources as possible, gets out of lane, because if you're stuck in a lane with the Rise, you're not going to have a good time. Like you were mentioning, this is not where he wants to be.
Right, and I think that's part of what's nice too about you just take all the turrets in the bot lane, you keep things going in laning phase. Rangjun getting a little aggressive mid with that Soul Unbound, at least from what I could tell with the mini-map there, how quickly he snapped back. That ability is very cool. But ultimately, I think you're still in an okay spot if you're GamersOrigin, just because of how good your front to back is going to be later on. I think Mirage, they are going to be very pick-based with how they want to play these compositions. You open things up with the curtain call or Memento going in on the engage, and you hopefully isolate and take someone down. The nice thing, too, is that we got Bad Lulu on this Camille. Once he already has that item, that first mythic already built, he's going to be a bit of a problem later on into the side lane, because as time goes on, Vizicachi will not be able to do anything about Bad Lulu by himself. It's going to need a joined effort from multiple people. And I think if Mirage play it just right off of the pressure Bad Lulu's going to have, I think that's also going to be how they're going to be getting things like towers, objectives, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a great soft call too. We know that Chachi does like to try to split push as much as he can. You know, like create pressure elsewhere too, which has been a big part of GamersOrigin overall strategy. Considering what they have set up right now, especially with these two dragons, his dragon stacking is going to play a big part in trying to win the game later on. Meant to flash over the wall. Andrew able to follow up, and he just jumps and leaps and hops away. Rocket, not going to hit. A nice little sidestep as it heads over.
I think they get him.
I don't think they get him, man. He runs away, but look on the back end instead. Cody's son as well locked down, takes a chunk of his health, but they can find the knockup as well. Raxo a bit too far up, has to use his flash. Now Rangjun is in threat as well. All this poke, but Gio just cannot secure the kills.
No, not quite, but it gets them a lot of pressure. They've managed to get the second Drake, and because of the Herald and the help Smiley's been getting, he's gotten all 5 turret plates and that first turret bonus going into his pocket here. So he's already juiced out of his mind on this Jinx pick, and he's going to be one of the big damage dealers later on. Of course, Ronaldo is going to be doing the same here, but when you got Ornn, when you have Alistar, you're peeling for Jinx, man.
Oh, yeah. You're making sure that Smiley is untouched the entire team fight as well. And we even saw in the game against BDS yesterday, which Mirage had. Although BDS were behind for most of the game, Crownshot was still able to get about 3 to 4 items once he had the IE. The amount of damage he put out was essentially game equalizing, even being 5k down. So this right here, as you mentioned, is a big threat that Mirage has to play around. And I imagine we'll see Memento and Rangjun looking to take out Smiley with their very creative engages as second Rift Herald goes their way. The blue or to spot that out as Bad Lulu is gonna need a little bit of help. Fate Seal's not gonna connect, but Bad Lulu hops over the wall. Locks it down, Hextech Ultimatum, and the shots from Cody's son was slowed down. Ronaldo, as Bad Lulu's dodging back and forth, locked down. One more
let's
hit,
go,
and
that's
he
one.
gets in.
Oh, they're looking for
gone as
more.
well.
Smiley?
This is not working out. Rangjun goes
I
over
don't
the
know
wall,
about that
but he's
one.
dead. The shield saves him. The heals from Rangjun. He's staying alive. And the bounce from Memento as he takes them to Crazy Town.
That is GamersOrigin feeling themselves a little too much here. It is back and forth, but ultimately Mirage come out huge. Pretty sure they end up securing the Herald, and regardless, you get a bunch of extra kills in your pocket at the cost of Bad Lulu. Flashing over Smiley, well, that's ambitious. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But in doing so, you do end up giving away some unnecessary gold here. And we're going to see how it starts off. Look at the mini-map. You see Vizicachi isn't quite close by. This is essentially a 5v4. And it's tough because you think you have Bad Lulu, but it's so easy for Rangjun to join in. And Bad Lulu, he goes deep, Ravi. And he ends up getting the kill, but slowly ends up getting traded anyway. The thing that matters after, and where I think this is no longer great for GamersOrigin as well, look at this. You end up taking out Raxo, and Rangjun flashes. Look at Smiley. Listen, buddy. Yeah. I know you're excited. I know you're tasting blood, but this is a tier 2 boots, Yone, and shield bow. That ain't it.
No, that's not happening. All that healing and as long with the more shield bow popped as well too.
Yeah.
I find he overestimated his damage a little bit. Although not a bad attack across the board, NJ was there for the support, but Rangjun is so mechanically gifted that he just plays around all the engage, and early on here beat down that Elyandra combo. His cooldowns are very, very long.
Yeah, they are. You need some levels before you can really throw things out reliably in multiple team fights here.
Yeah.
So Mirage end up getting a pretty big play here for themselves. And you can see it. Ronaldo already pushed this wave for GamersOrigin. It's how important this next dragon is for them. They need this Dragon Soul so that they can more easily secure a win for themselves. They have Ronaldo push top. They're okay to sacrifice that top tier turret. They just want to delay its release. Oh my god, wait, I think they've caught out Memento.
I mean, like, we've seen his ability to escape before, but Vizicachi's there, so we're going to land the knockup.
Oh, yeah, they got him.
There it is. He is gone. But instead, they will trade that for pressure on the other end of the map, knowing where every single person is at this point. The soul point will be theirs. And from their Bad Lulu, we're going to get the tier 2, but now Mirage in a sticky situation.
Yeah, that is a big catch out there by Ronaldo. TPing in, the pinch is coming through from Memento, and him getting caught out means you get a quick dragon, you can walk Vizicachi over to the top lane, and yeah, Bad Lulu got a turret for it, but he wasn't able to pressure the tier 2, so now GamersOrigin, honestly, down about 1,500 gold, doesn't matter. Your Jinx is still really fed, you still have a good front to back, and you're one away from an Ocean Soul. This is, especially now that we don't have Chemtech anymore, this is probably the strongest soul, depending on who you ask, and that healing in these extended team fights, because that's what they're looking for on the side of GamersOrigin, is going to be such a big deal for them.
Yeah, and we've seen as well, like, they want to see out the late game. They want to see this game go to 35, 40 minutes, which is where they will be absolute monsters. We were saying before as well, this dragon stacking is one way to do it, just to ensure the late game priority and safety. But considering Mirage's composition, they're built out for burst, not long extended engages. As we see it right now, they can't burst anybody down. They'll put a big flay onto 2.
Teleport! Vizicachi's coming!
Rax is super low, and he is gone. Vizicachi, no call the forward guard, but Memento dives in the middle of the team. He doesn't land anything onto anybody. And there we go. Rangjun is the next to fall. His fate is sealed as Cody's son marked the next target on triple kill for Smiley as he smashes those pearly whites.
Redeems himself nicely after the flash over the wall there in the pit. And what does that mean? Another neutral objective going over. It's the Baron for GamersOrigin. They are taking control in this game. Ronaldo's Realm Warp wasn't even needed, and this is it. This is going to be the straw that may break Mirage Elyandra's back.
Mirage came out as such a phenomenal feat. Yesterday we were talking about them being one of the contenders for top 3, top 4 teams in the league. The win against BDSA demonstrated how phenomenal they could be, but the engage here a little bit disjointed, I would say.
The thing is, you can see how important this was for them. They know that they needed to do something on the side of Mirage, so Raxo goes in for the play, but they can't burst anybody down in quick succession here. You can see Rangjun struggling, trying to get stacks on the Q so he can potentially go in. The E must have been on cooldown or something, so he wasn't able to fully commit the way he might have liked to on a pick like the Yone. And what does that mean? Viz TP's in, call the Forge God. The front to back we've been praising all game is just going so well, and this is what we wanted to see from this team. Going back to what's been working for you. Simpler compositions, no Jin mids. This is great.
No Jin mids, no level 4 dives, like no playing around like 3 minions yet. Just clear front to back, and we were mentioning consistently throughout this game that GamersOrigin, once they have this hard range, lockdown CC, visit Chachi's on something comfortable, and Endwave have his Alistar, we have not seen them lose from this position. And Vita, you were mentioning as well that there's no way that Smiley gets touched. Yeah, he loses a single bit of health
unless
the entire
he flashes over a wall.
Unless he flashes over the wall, right?
Like that!
Which then he is gone, but he won't die!
Oh my god.
Ronaldo coming in clutch with the rune prison, and Smiley is like, you thought.
He's definitely saying, it was calculated, boys. Good job, good job.
Yeah,
That's what he's saying. All intended. You know what? I got my boy Endwave, Alistar passive, very balanced, all the healing it offers. I'm good. I never doubted myself. No, and now you can
never doubted me.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, Ravi, you don't got you, who got you?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. If you don't believe in yourself, your team is not going to be there for you, man. You save your flash because you want to go in, not out. Which I'm sure Smiley right now is very happy about that. He does have the flash up again, so I'm sure he's saving that to just go in hard and engage. But all jokes aside, though, I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing out of GamersOrigin right now. Yeah. We mentioned before, but say it again. Geo mentioned, Jazz has mentioned, this is a scaling organization. They do not take in individual games performances as a summary of a whole. It is all about going and moving towards the next step. Yesterday was a little bit rough. Today's a lot better. So GamersOrigin really making a bounce back in next day for Nice.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll give Justice credit for that one. Most important step is the next one, and it's looking like GamersOrigin's next step is going to be that Ocean Soul coming in 30 seconds now. This is going to be all or nothing for Mirage and Elyandra. You can see them moving towards this bottom side, seeing if they can maybe do something about Vizichachi, seeing if they can maybe find an angle so that they can stop this dragon coming through, because surely that would be the end. And of course, they know that on the side of GamersOrigin, Ronaldo's going to be on the split. He has teleport, he has realm warp, and he has a nice chunk of gold that he wants to spend.
He's chilling. He can do literally whatever he wants right now. And of course, he did go for the faded. I
mean, it's just uniquely good. You get more
like,
mana, and mana gives you AP.
Mana,
you know
AP gives you mana. Look, I've heard it all before. Still not a fan of it. I'm allowed to have my own opinions. But one thing I see right now is, let's see if Memento can commit the flyby. Dragon is only by half health. He goes right to the back line. They find Smiley, but the camera is down.
That's big.
One Mirage flashes over the wall.
No
and
AD carry.
Memento gets him. No AD carry, but they steal the dragon as well. They deny Ocean Soul. The fight continues on. Team Memento go a little bit too deep, but now Raxo wants the other engaged Rangjun, focusing down Vizichachi, and Endwave has to run away. Mirage fight a miraculous fight in a very desperate situation.
That was perfect, Ravi. All jumping in onto Smiley, even if he had a splash, it didn't matter. He is the damage dealer, and without this AD carry, this turbo-fed Sunny DCEO 80 carry is not able to put out any damage, you lose it out. The majority of the Gold League GamersOrigin had, of course, was on Smiley. You take him out of the picture, it's done so. You stall, you get yourself more time, and if Mirage can keep finding fights like this, well, that's their way back into the game.
Exactly, because it does not matter if you have the apple bottom jeans, the boots with the fur. The issue is when you have all that beat down, the whole club is looking at you. And exactly what happened is when the whole club is looking at you, Smiley had to go hit the flow, and next thing you know, he's gone. He's just within seconds of that too. So we mentioned before, they need the engage on Smiley. They need to find it, and those creative half screen off the side engages is exactly what's the composition from Mirage focusing down on. From there, the rest of it, it was just a little bit of a cleanup.
It was really easy for them, really nicely played there from Mirage, and they tie the gold lead in one fell swoop. They stall the Dragon Soul also in that very same swoop. So now GamersOrigin got to recognize they have to be a lot more careful with how they position in team fights, being very aware of where Memento is going to be, because now we're at this point where you got plenty of points in that W. This guy can jump in from God knows how many screens away and is going to be able to try and isolate Smiley.
Half a screen, full screen.
3 screens.
The base. How far will it go here to be done? How much longer must we suffer until Zach continues to haunt my nightmares?
That's what Smiley's saying.
How long must I save my flash for to potentially live by the end of it? But going back and look at the game and what you're seeing. Next target, of course, with Baron in their hands. It is just about setting up their waves for just to potentially, get the Baron, right? It is the next big objective. The vision remaining decently in Mirage's side around top river, but we see just all across the board, though, GamersOrigin have managed to establish a really clear line as to where they know they can push. So Mirage needs to find more setup,
the
but
I love this.
yeah, bad Lulu flashes over the wall. They're not going to find the engage, but he is cornered from every single side. Going to use the ultimate just to stay alive for a couple more seconds and say, you know what, I'm going to choose where I die and I'll be right here.
Oh, here it comes, though, the TP from Vizichachi. He has no call of the Forge God, so this is a quick call from Mirage to just go ahead and start the Baron. It doesn't look like anything can be done. Raxo in the perfect position to block that Super Mega Death Rocket, and now it's just about running away. Can you do that? If you're Mirage, it's looking like the answer is yes. They get away with the heist.
Correct. So understood the assignment. He know that I am one with the Force is with me, and I sense the Force will be coming right here. An immediate shot taking. There's no chance for another steal, as Crown Shot so expertly demonstrated yesterday. And from there, this is Mirage's way back into the game, but it has to be about setting up these waves. You mentioned before, Baron right now is their chance for a little bit of reset and some more breathing room until the next dragon.
And it's going to be nice because it's a bit of gold in their pockets as well. If they're going to be able to get some turrets, recall, spend that gold, cash themselves back up, they're going to be in a really good spot. Because you can see how much Bad Lulu is able to do in fights where he's able to do something. And it's worth noting, too, we're seeing a lot of the stopwatches start to come out. I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stopwatches here. Bad Lulu never used it while building the GA, so he has access to it now. And, well, we're going to see a lot of stasis in the next team fight, and that's the big one here. It's worth noting, crucially, that Smiley has one. So this is good for GamersOrigin. They're going to be able to, at least hopefully, buy enough time to peel for their ADC.
For now, though, go back to the exact same stuff we've seen before. Rax is just going around all the way down bot side. It's a clear red line that we see near Dragon. Because Ocean's Soul has the potential to completely changing the pacing of the game. We see the gold set up as well. Smiley, of course, has all that money in his pocket. And I imagine he can't wait to spend as he gets more and more.
Now, you have GamersOrigin moving as that 5-man unit. You do have the teleport from Bad Lulu, who's pushed in that top wave, and we're 5 seconds away from what could be make or break in this game. If GamersOrigin get this dragon, it is done deal. Remember, a lot of stopwatches. Smiley, crucially, has one here. So GamersOrigin, how are they going to protect their Jinx? I think they know with these wards where Memento will be coming from.
They find the hook on Ronaldo, but they will choose not to engage. Cody's son as well. He's playing very far back, and so is Rangjun. But look at where Memento is. He jumps over the wall. He finds engage the double. The call to Forge guy.
He's in trouble.
The reset, look at the back here. Rangjun! He seals the fate of every single member of GamersOrigin. The prodigy from Korea wipes the floor with them, and is just Vizichachi left. That right there is the cleanup that Billy Mays will be proud of.
They keep getting away with it. Rangjun keeps finding these ultimates, and Mirage are pulling it back. They don't deny the soul. They don't pick up the dragon for themselves, but they win the fight, and they have so much pressure onto the map. They are going to use that first. Use what's left of their Baron buff. Take care of some of these outer turrets, and there it is. That's going to be the second Ocean Drake in a row. GamersOrigin in a lot of trouble.
This is a really tough call. Mirage is playing from behind almost the entire game. GamersOrigin had a clear-cut plan, but sadly, all the angles for engage, the way they play around their vision, and the flanks, the setups, Memento and Rangjun have been monsters this entire game. These are the people that you have to be afraid of in the dark here, Beatdown. These are the reason why you ward. Memento is under your bed, waiting to use Q on you.
And you know what? It isn't even as bad as Memento this time around. A lot of this is a huge fate sealed from Rangjun. You're staying close to Smiley because you know you got to peel for this AD carry, and you know you want to try and make this play onto Raxo, but immediately Rangjun flashes, Soul Unbound, gets the R, collects so many people, and sure, Ronaldo and Vizichachi live that burst. Who cares? They're not the ones you need to kill. The damage is done. Jinx is out of the fight, and it's so easy for Mirage to just clean it up. Now that's 2 dragons they've gotten for themselves in a row. And again, GamersOrigin, they find themselves in a really difficult situation here because they need to do a better job of tracking people like Rangjun and Memento. I know you see someone like Raxo or someone you can try and isolate.
Oh no.
But get caught out.
Oh no.
You're in trouble.
Oh no. Okay.
Lantern is cool.
Oh yeah. Everything turns out fine, like you mentioned. Lantern A-okay. They'll take the red buff away, but I think that's a trade they're more than willing to try to accept, considering could have been much worse off of it. Next dragon up in another 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And we know GamersOrigin wants to play around exactly that. It's going to matter a lot about positioning and the way they set up right around Smiley. They're going to make sure Wave is mirroring him as much as possible, but it just might not be enough as we go back to a bit more of a lull state between these 2 teams.
It's tough. Smiley, a lot of people, many men, wish death upon him, Ravi.
He has gold in his eyes, Beatdown. He can't see, but he's trying to be what he's destined to be, but people keep trying to take his life away, man.
Bro, and they're succeeding. That's the problem. Mirage, keep getting him. And you think, look who wants to get rid of this guy. You got Rangjun, you got Memento. Bad Lulu hasn't even gotten a turn yet. He's still waiting his chance, and he's still hungry in the background, around the corner, being like, I see you. I'm watching you. And as soon as you slip up, I got you. He's going to need more than 1 GA if he's going to be able to avoid all of these things. Because right now, like, so hard for this AD carry. So much asked of Smiley in this game.
He needs Flash, he needs Gale Force, he needs Rocket Belt, and then maybe a TP that can just possibly get him away in case if anything happens. Ghost too,
Ghost would be nice.
Barrier, cleanse.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Honestly, not at all, my
Stick
friend.
spellbook.
But for me right now, the one person we actually haven't been able to talk about a ton of this game was Kareem KT, as him alongside his shot calling has been very impactful for Geo, but as they start up the Baron, there's no vision there. Andrew finds Memento.
Nice.
Baron is gone. They cannot get in the pit. And Geo will be able to get away with this, but instead they want the fight. They finally call the Forge God. Andrew is in trouble. They find the knockup part 30, but look at all the backs there. Rangjun. Andrew wants to go in. The Fate still can't come out. He's locked down. The Rune Prism is way too good. A bad Lulu. He's got to run away. La interruption. Coming out for Ronaldo against his counterpart. They're chasing them down. GamersOrigin turn things back around. They're on the back foot, and they keep it going. Bad Lulu, Cody's son, can't do nothing at all. As Memento pushes mid. Look at that.
I mean, that's all he can really do at this point. He loses key members in that fight, and there isn't anything to do for the steal. You got to give props to Njue. He always does this, especially on the Alistar. Great at running interference against people who could either pop your carries when going for a Baron take or just CCing the jungler so they can't go for the steal, and it works beautifully here. GamersOrigin are still holding on, still managing to find some of these neutral objectives, but as cool as the Baron is, as impactful as that neutral is, 1 minute, Ravi. That's the one everyone is looking at. This Ocean Soul that GamersOrigin keep letting slip through their fingers.
Flash is up for Rangjun. Flash is up for Memento.
Yeah.
2 really big tools that we must pay attention to in case no matter where they try to come from. Bad Lulu has been quite good about trying to lock people down with the Hexic ultimatums, but a lot of aggro has unfortunately just dissuaded him from doing so. Just look how far he can come in from. As they find them, right at the wolves, Vizichachi just farming a little bit, hoping to get up to his 5th item, complete the Thorn Mail. He'll be very, very tanky if he manages to do so. Almost impossible to take down. But considering how they've been able to stop the second coming of the Forge God every single time in these crucial team fights, it's a tough time.
I don't like that they're grouped up like this, especially because you know Ronaldo isn't nearby. He's going to shove the wave, but the thing is, the combination is still there. The ward over the pit, really good from Njue. They know where Memento is going to try to be coming from here, and it's tough. If they're all grouped up, Rangjun is going to have the ability to look at this Yone to see if he can set it up.
There's no knockup to anybody. Memento doesn't get him, but Fate sealed. Goes all in the back line, but Rangjun is dead. The GA will pop. Smiley's alive. Oh, they get a GA as well. A big shot from Cody's son, but they can't kill him. They're chasing him down. They're locking him out. Hextech ultimatum will come out to make sure he dies, but look on the back line. Look what they're doing, Cody's son, staying alive for a couple more seconds. The crit, the stopwatch. He wants to take it down, but he's down out of vision under the bush. They will not get Ronaldo, but it's a double for Bad Lulu.
somehow Mirage keep holding on, man. They keep finding Smiley despite his best efforts, and that is going to be their third dragon in a row. They just keep getting over the top here, and so much of it is because of Rangjun. He's always finding value from the ultimates, and you'll see it here. Even though he ends up falling, even though he isn't the one to secure the kill, at the end of the day, what did I say? Bad Lulu was looking for his chance to take a crack at this Jinx, and he goes in with Memento. The flash, the ult, we got a little lag, but you can see him die at this moment, and there it is.
The colors?
Yeah, Bad Lulu comes in over the wall after the GA is popped and is able to help finish the job.
His ult was so good it messed up the stream.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened when you seal someone's fates like that. I was going to mention before too, was like you see on the back end, Kareem KT is doing his darndest to try to find at least one reset, one soul he can take, but they're simply never low enough. Like, none of the members of Mirage and Elyandra are ever low enough that you're going to possibly try to get one. And when you as a Viego are not able to get a single reset, right? When you as a Viego cannot detect the momentum of the fight, are not able to put down disgusting amounts of damage, going for this tank build is kind of your only option just to make sure that you can put out stuns and kind of survive. But by the end of it, Kareem KT has not been able to be involved much in this entire game, which is really unfortunate considering, we've seen him have really stand-up performances, especially in the games Geo has won.
Because as you say, you got to get the resets on this Viego. He's done some in this match so far, but as of the last 10 minutes or so, it's been a struggle for GamersOrigin, who now have 3.5 minutes of time before this next soul comes up. And this time it's going to be soul no matter what. It's 3 in a row for Mirage, and they're up 3,000 gold. It's worth noting all the stopwatches, except for Bad Lulu's, have been used for Mirage, so that should make the team fight a little more manageable for GamersOrigin, but this is still a really tough position for them to be in here.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
270 seconds is what decides the potential fate for both of these teams.
180.
Thank you. But point being, 2 minutes.
Yes.
Is what remains between these two. Ocean Soul will look very, very good on both ends. But with Baron also up another 40 seconds, that's another place where they know that they can create another pressure point. They're doing good jobs trading bot waves with Vizichachi and Bad Lulu, trading position back and forth between there. You see Bad Lulu roaming down, but he does see that, I don't know if he knows that Ronaldo is there. He should be able to spot them on the wave, but
probably,
as two people are roaming up against him, they could potentially try to set up a dive considering almost all of Mirage are up top side. They're outside of vision though, but for now they'll simply focus their efforts mid as a 3-man it. But the base could be under potential duress as TP is up for Vizichachi and Ronaldo.
That's the thing. That's why I like that they're sending the solo laners there. If Bad Lulu disrespects, they can pick him off TP to the fight. And that's why you see 3 hovering in the mid area. But it's looking like the play isn't there. Bad Lulu respects it, so he's going to TP. They're just going to go ahead and start the Baron. But look, GamersOrigin are walking into fog. They can't see Memento. They can't see Rangjun.
They don't know at all. Smiley is very, very far back. So you know as he has to stay safe. He's been making sure to be very out of position just to consider his life, but he finds the knockup, but they cannot land.
Smiley's
One
good.
more lockdown. The
He's
fake
okay.
heal fine. Smiley's okay. The Ignite taken down to about half.
Oh, here comes the ultimate.
He's fine. All the rockets to call the Forge God. They got knocked up 1, 2, 3, 4. How many more after their door?
Here
Smiley's at full health, and he can reign supreme on all the members of Mirage. That's 3 more down. All of Geo are alive. Rangjun might be destined to die. But Vizichachi goes on him, along with Ronaldo, to get a little bit of revenge. There we go. He gets brittled down. GamersOrigin find the fight.
And there it is. The TPs are coming out. They could look to push for the end. Long spawn timers. And there it is, the TP from Ronaldo to keep the cannon minion alive. They're going to push for it. GamersOrigin, they almost lost it on several occasions, but they managed to bring it back.
It was so close at so many moments. They don't want the Baron. They don't want the Soul beatdown. They want the Nexus, and they will have it. GamersOrigin take down Mirage for the first game of the day in day 2 of the Nice Land.